All right, so this is taking a look at question on 6.4, question number 3 out of the practice. What we're looking for is we're looking to find the area to the right. If to find the z-score that goes with the area to the right of 0.08. So to me, probably the biggest problem about this is just the way that the tables that are provided by Hawks, like how they go about those tables, it makes it kind of confusing. And so I'd like to just kind of address that to start with. And I think that that'll kind of help the process. So let's see. To start off, let's go ahead and draw a normal distribution just to kind of wrap our heads around like what we're looking at. So let's go pen. Okay, so we have this normal distribution. And in this normal distribution, what we want to think about is the fact that we have, this is right from here to here. This would be 0.5 of the area, and this would be 0.5 of the area. So you got the top is 0.5 and the bottom is 0.5. To kind of add a couple of things on here, when we think about z-score, when we're reading the table, remember this would be negative z's down here. This would be 0 right here, and this would be positive z's right here. So when we're reading the tables and trying to decipher like what we're looking at, that's really important to kind of remember that orientation, that the negative is on the left, the positive is on the right. Each of those sections, so like the section like right here, you can't see my pen, that section right there is a half or 50% of the probability, and the upper part is 50%. So now when we go and I'm sorry, there we go. So this is 50% and that's 50%. So now when we take a look at our data value, so our particular area right here, this 0.08, so that's going to be this guy right here, because it says to the right. All right, and so what we have to figure out is how are we going to interpret that? Well, the thing about these tables is these tables are not read from the right to the left. They're not read from the positive down towards the negative. They're read from the negative up towards the positive. So when we take a look at this first table right here, and we're looking at 0 to positive z, so 0 to positive z is going to be this guy right here. There's 0 to positive z. Well, this table doesn't read on the right-hand side. This table reads on the left-hand side. So this table actually tells us what's going on from 0 to 0.08. So one way we can determine that is we can take the point, let me get my pen back. We can take 0.5 and subtract our 0.08, and we come out with 0.42. So when we go over to the table, that's what we're actually like looking for, is an area of 0.42. So when we go to the table to do this, we find what is actually the closest. So let's see. Let me pause for just 1 second. Sorry. All right. So 0.42 is what we're looking for. Let me get my pen and write that in. Let's see. Let's do orange. So this is 0.42. All right, so we scroll down and we're looking for 0.42. So let's see, 0.3, 0.38, 0.4, 0.40, 0.42. All right, so now when we're looking at this is this question of, do we want to go over or do we want to be under? So if we overestimate, we could look at either one of these right here. But let's think about that. If we overestimate and we went with 0.4207, that means we're actually going to go over here into the actual 0.8 area. So the way that we actually do this is we would underestimate in this case, and so we would use this guy right here. And let's think about that. Actually, my bad. We're actually going to overestimate on this one to push us off into that zone. So I can't erase that. So we're actually going to use the 0.4207, which means that the corresponding z-score for that area, 0.42, would be 1.41. Now, what that means is that means that we are 1.41 standard deviations above the mean. So remember, 0 is the mean. So we look at this guy right here. That's the symbol for mean at 0. And we say, okay, that means that this particular location at 0.08 is 1.41 standard deviations above the mean. So that would be if we were looking at this if from 0 to z. So from 0 to z. All right, so let's refresh and let's take a look. So to me, that's probably the easiest way, but what I want to show you is like the symmetry of it. And so the question is what would be our z-score if that was the case? And the answer is 1.41. All right, so let me clear my screen and let's take a look at this. Oops, sorry. All right, so now, oops.